Hello! Thank you so much for joining me back on John's Chaotic Healing. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Today is Thursday, which means we are back on reviews and day of the life. And today's coping skill is baths. And baths I find are really good just to warm up, relax, decrease tension. The way I like to do it is I like to shower first to cleanse my body, and then I like to turn on the water, make it really warm. I often like to put in some bath salts. I don't really like to put any bubbles or scented stuff in it because of my conditions. It makes it not great. For those that don't know, scented stuff with herpes does not go well. And so all my body soaps are unscented because of that. So we're gonna take a trip to the bathroom. I'll show you how I like to set up my baths. You can pause this video, take your own bath, and then we'll regroup and dive into today's review, which I am very excited about. It's about a book that I am quite literally obsessed with. All right, so here we go. Let's take a trip to the bath.
Fifteen minutes later.
Okay, now that we've bathed, and for me, showered as well, we are into the review portion. How do you feel? I feel very spa. So, with that, we are going to review one of my favorite books. It's a book by Natasha Preston. It's called The Island. And I find Natasha Preston's books very fascinating. I love her deep thought, like deep horror, but it's not gruesome horror in the sense where it's always like blood, blood, blood. It's very like psychological, and it's very thought-provoking, and you really get into the heads of each character as the actual horror scenarios are each holding. And so in this book, it's where a private amusement park happens for like the very rich, and there's social media influencers that go onto this exclusive amusement park island for this like billionaire who tries to rent out who is creating this like ridiculously gothic horror themed luxury amusement park. And these six social media influencers who have like millions of followers go to the amusement park with just them and the billionaire for like a weekend before it opens, and it's with the intention to create posts and videos. But then as it's kind of happening, it gets really horror themed because basically murders start happening and people go missing, and the main character is trying to just figure out how to survive and how to get off, and it's communicating with the parents who are like, well, one of them was like, I don't know, and the other one's like, well, it will be good for the press and we can pay off her college. So I really like it, and I think it's very modern themed because it talks about the main platform, the social media platform, for those wondering, is TikTok and YouTube. So I really like that component because it really felt Gen Z based. And I will say this book isn't for the easy. It is a young adult book, but I would lean it towards the more adult section just because of the type. Unless you are a more like a mature young adult. I would say I really started liking her books around 20, 21 years old because they do get into some very sensitive topics. This book, there's a lot of trigger warnings. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but it's not a easy read. It's very dark. But I like it because it gives an escape, and also I really like the mind-messing kind of moments that Natasha reads. I like to call her books psychological thrillers. Psychological horror thrillers, I think, would be more appropriate. Anyways, we're gonna put that down and we're gonna get into the day in the life portion because there is so much to talk about. There is so much to talk about. Okay, so first off, important, super important. Today is my date later today. I am very excited. I will keep you posted how it goes, but I'm very excited. He seems really sweet and we seem really interested in each other, so I'll let you know how that goes. Second off, yesterday was hilarious because how many things can I forget in one day? I left my phone somewhere. I had a crazy experience trying to do physical therapy. Then I had to run back to my apartment to make food just in time to eat that. And then I had to be picked up by my classmate's husband and we spent the day together where I was observing their kids for class, because yes, that's an actual class thing. And after that, I went home and I had to write papers, because a lot of papers I do this week. Adios míos. And why? And so I am having to do 5 papers due this week. No, JK, 2, but they're very thorough and lengthy and really annoying. Well, I don't know if annoying, but they're something that need to get done. So they're on my mind. So I have to finish them today after my date ends, or maybe just before, because I forget what time he's coming. Oopsie! Also, on Tuesday, I am the king of forgetfulness because I forgot my water bottle at my friend's place. I also forgot a meeting that I was supposed to attend to for work because I forgot to put it on my calendar. Hi, ADHD. And then I also forgot, I forgot that I was supposed to have a meeting for class. And so so thankfully my shift that I was doing for Crisis Text Line, because I was volunteering at the time the meeting started, thankfully the conversation I was in with a texter was ending and wrapping up, and I could just say, hi y'all, I'm in this meeting, but I'm just gonna wrap up this conversation, so I'm in 2 places at once, so just bear with me. And obviously I kept HIPAA. I just said I'm in 2 places at once, and I just ended that conversation secretly, and then got right back into my meeting, and thankfully we sorted things out. Also, I have to do extra readings this time because we're diving into project time. Oh, also Tuesday I found out I actually don't have Parkinson's. I have what's called essential tremors that have just been untold to me my entire life. And so we're putting me up more on one of my meds that's going to really help. So far, I've already noticed a difference, but you can still kind of see it. I also learned that one of my meds is actually making the tremors worse. And I never knew this. So now I need to talk to my psychiatrist to take me off of it because it's a stimulant. And I learned that stimulants can make it worse. Fudge McNuggets. So that's a whole situation of itself. And so I picked that medication up. I also fought with the pharmacy to fill one of my medications because they wouldn't, because apparently it's over the counter, but you can't buy the medication over the counter anywhere. Literally nobody sells it anywhere. I've looked everywhere. And it's you can buy it online, but it's how do I know what is the trusted actual sellers and not one of those fake sellers? So there's that whole shebanga. Whee! So there's that whole deal. So they're now trying to fill it. They ordered it, but there's that. And then, Monday, student council went well. We're actually getting the ball rolling. Unfortunately, a new member didn't show up, so that's unfortunate. But we created some action plans. I'm really excited. I really hope that we can get the ball rolling now that we have an actual team and it's not just 2 or 3 of us. So that's exciting. I will say it's going to be really awkward once our president graduates because that means that I actually am not the president and I'm going to be ooh, responsibility. I have to lead it now. Uh-oh. Thankfully, I feel I'm starting to get really prepared and that's really nice. Though there's that. And then there's also just the usual classes. Final Sunday class happened, which is nice. That's now out of the way. Saturday was the usual Saturday stuff. And I will say I hate group projects to a core. I hate group projects to a core. I hate group projects to a core. Because there was so much change and they're not giving me any structure. I need structure. And there's so much change and I need structure. I need a plan and I need them to stick with it, but they keep changing the plan. And they keep like changing responsibilities and it's killing me. And I had not good thoughts at first, brain no thoughts. And my friends who know my friends know what that means. But thankfully I was able to regulate it. Thank you, therapist, for those skills. But outside of that, honestly, thankfully, not too many issues acting up. But I will say, I think I'm getting a cold. I think my Apple Watch also registered that. Thank you, Apple Watch, for that. And let's see. Anything else happening? No. I think I have a couple concerts coming up, which is exciting. I don't know when that's happening. Not this weekend, is it? I don't know. What is time? Time is the cut to time. 1,000 IQ. With that, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you got something out of today. And thank you so much for existing. I really do genuinely mean that. And please know that the world is truly and genuinely so much brighter because you are in it.